My name is Bri Sargent, and I have been a workplace safety professional for nearly 20 years. I have coached and trained over 100 safety managers. I am extremely passionate about what we do, and I love talking about safety culture, about getting management support and commitment, and the psychology of safety. That is my jam. It really, really is. So make sure that you share this so that your other safety friends know what's going on. And we are always talking management commitment. We are always talking culture in ways that you can do your job better, right? And hopefully make you successful at what you do. The topic today is, if they're not complaining about you, are you really doing your job? When I became a regional safety manager, I had 39 locations, which was really hard to manage. And I had this boss that actually, when they hired me, they said, Bri, you cannot be successful at this job. It's impossible. One person cannot manage 39 locations. And on top of it, it wasn't 39 locations in a small area. It was the entire United States. So I was literally traveling every single week to a different location. And even if I hit every single location, that was 39 weeks of travel, right? There was no way for me to be successful. So I had to put some controls in place and some ways to manage my team. And then they go and they gave me Ireland on top of that, which was, I believe, another 12 locations. And they're like, yeah, we just totally want you to fail. But anyway, I was putting these controls in place, and I had a system in place to try to manage this large region. And what I noticed is that the president of the region, not the safety part of it, but the operations part of it, he was constantly getting complaints about me. And then he would get me on the phone and I would talk to him, and he would say, no, what you're doing is perfectly right. I 100% support you. And then he would give me his backing. This happened probably 6 months in a row. And I went to my boss and I said, what the heck am I doing wrong? Because it just seems like they are constantly complaining about me. And she said, Bri, if they weren't complaining about you, I would think that you weren't doing your job. And I was like, that's interesting. And then it got me thinking about my job previous to that. We were a distribution site. And so we had a warehouse and we used stand-up forklifts. And then they would have to go into a production area that had over 100 people working in it. So there was a lot of pedestrian traffic, especially during break times. Like when they were working, they were pretty much at their stations, but break times would release and there would be people everywhere. So then you ended up having the traffic of the forklifts along with the pedestrians. Very dangerous, right? So we were setting up controls and things like that, but the way the building was organized, it was really hard. So then we had Kenny. And Kenny, I call him a kid because he was young. And this was like 10 plus years ago. He was young. I would guess, I don't know how old he was, but my guess would be that he was like 19 or 20 years old. I don't think he was legal to drink yet. So we had Kenny, and Kenny this was one of his first jobs. He never really operated a forklift before. They did put him through training. He passed the training, right? But there were several instances where he almost hit a pedestrian and we would have to put him through retraining. But what I noticed about Kenny was that he was really, really good friends with the top person at our location. We called them a president. So he was very good friends with the president of the location, which meant there's no way Kenny was getting fired. This was my president's workout buddy. So I was like, okay, how can I fix this situation? So what I did is I coached Kenny every single day. Break time would come and I would literally be following Kenny. And now I'm a certified forklift trainer, not an operator. You never want to see me operate a forklift. It's hysterical. But I was able to know, because I was certified, I was able to know what was good, what was bad, and all of those good things, right? So I would watch Kenny and I would just coach Kenny constantly. I was constantly talking to him about his operation. I was constantly trying to improve everything about him. I did not do this in a negative fashion. It was positive coaching. It was like, hey, I noticed that you did this. Let's try to do it this way differently. But it was every day. And what finally happened was that he went to my boss and he was like, he went to HR, who then went to my boss and said, Bri is singling me out. Bri is picking on me and all of that. which I was able to defend my actions because I had all the video backup and the complaints about his operation. So my boss backed me up on it. But once again, it was like, he's complaining about me, right? He's complaining. And just so you know how that turned out, Kenny ended up being one of our best forklift operators. He was never fired. And I use this also as a story as to why positive coaching is better than firing somebody if you just focus on them, because really that's the goal, right? We want our people doing the right behaviors. We're not wanting to go out there and just fire everybody and bring in new people. That's way too much work. But the point is that once again, I was in this situation where I was being told that people are complaining about me. And I can tell you story after story where this came into play. And what does this all mean, right? I think that is one of the things that got me to where I was. My career path has always escalated. Every job I've gotten after the last one has been better and better and better, right? And I've gotten better. I've grown as a person as well. But when people are complaining about you, what that means is that you're creating friction, right? It means that you are trying to make changes and people don't like changes. But that's okay. That's what you're supposed to be doing. So if you are not getting complained about, does that mean that maybe, just maybe, you're playing it too safe? That maybe you are not being strong enough in your beliefs? That maybe you're not trying to change the behaviors the way that you should? Are you playing it safe? I don't know. If you're sitting back, if you're hearing me now going, maybe I am playing it safe, drop a comment below. Tell me, how are you playing it safe? And when you're playing it safe, how does that feel to you? Right? Does that actually motivate you? Does that excite you to do your job? My guess would be no, because I will tell you, when I am playing it safe, I am not having a good time. I am not. I feel like I'm being stifled. I feel like I have to be cautious about my words, and I'm just not being true to myself. So if you want to make a difference at your workplace, in your life, whatever it happens to be, you have to speak up and you have to advocate for the vision that you have. And doing that means that you're probably going to ruffle some feathers, right? But if you ruffle some feathers, so what? So what? If I didn't ruffle Kenny's feathers, he might have killed somebody. But what did I do instead? I made him into a damn good forklift operator. And I believe, I'm not sure if he still works there, but I believe he has moved on to bigger and better things. And I like to think that it was me coaching him and telling him that, no, you're not a terrible person, Kenny. You just need to learn some skills and you'll be amazing. That actually made him a better person. And this is why I love what we do so freaking much, right? I believe that what we do saves lives. I'm not a fireman. I know some of you are. I'm not a policeman. I know some of you are retired policemen. I wasn't in the military. My dad was. And my brother's a policeman, by the way. But I don't have that, right? It's just something that I did not do in my life. But I feel like being a safety manager, I get to say that I save lives, right? I believe that what we do makes a difference. And that by doing our jobs the way that we're supposed to, it makes our job more meaningful than anybody else's job in your company. Think about it. Right? What we do is more meaningful than even the salespeople, right? We're saving lives. If we're not saving lives, maybe we're saving limbs. Maybe we're saving pain. Maybe we're saving injury. I mean, I see safety as happiness. So the fact that if I can keep my workplace safe, I'm helping everybody stay happy, right? And I believe that if you are not being honest to your vision, if you are not speaking up, if you're not ruffling a couple of feathers, then you're doing a disservice to, the people that you work with. So what I can tell you is that I am happiest when I'm speaking my truth. I know some people will listen to this video and they'll be like, she's a crazy person. And that's perfectly fine. Maybe you and I don't connect. That's okay, right? But I know that you have to speak your truth. If you don't like the way something is going, you have an obligation to speak up. If you have an idea that can make things better within your workplace, you are hurting somebody else, whether it be physically hurting them or hurting the business financially or whatever, if you don't share it. So you have an obligation to speak up. You have an obligation to share it. And don't be afraid of what other people will think. Honestly, they're rarely thinking about you. People are mainly thinking about themselves. If you don't speak up, then you're just guaranteeing that they're never going to know about your amazing idea of how to make the company better, or how to make it safer, or what if this is what scares me the most. This scares me more than anything. I don't speak up and somebody gets seriously hurt. Not even seriously hurt. I don't speak up and somebody gets hurt, period. They cut their finger and I knew it was dangerous and I did nothing about it. That's how passionate I am about what we do. All right. But what you have to understand is that when you speak up and when you share your ideas and when you speak your truth, they may not listen to you. They may not follow you. They may not agree with you. And you know what? That's okay. They don't have to. But at least you have been honest. You have been your true self. Okay? Because if you don't speak up, I promise you, you will not get far. I've seen it. They stay in the safety specialist role. They stay in the safety manager role. And that's not what I want for you, my friend. For you, my safety friend, what I want for you is a seat in the C-suite. Because that's where I think safety belongs. All right. And you might not know what the C-suite is. So I don't know what the organization is like at your facility, but in the corporate environment, you have a CEO, you have a CFO, you have a COO, you have a CTO. Well, I believe there needs to be a CSO, a Chief Safety Officer, because when those executives realize the benefits and the profits that safety make for them, they deserve a seat in the C-suite. Because we save companies money. Safety is a profit center. I can go on and on about that too. So anyway, that's what I want for you. And in order to get there, you have to start ruffling some feathers. So if people are not complaining about you, are you really doing your job? Alrighty, my friends, that is all that I have for you this week. If you love this stuff, if you like this talk and you said, damn, I like what Bry's preaching. I know it was preachy today. And you want to dive deeper into safety culture, employee engagement, management commitment, then make sure you get on my email list. Like I said, I'm sharing my forms and my documents with you as well. And the easiest way to do that is to go to asksafetygeek.com/5 ways. You could just put the number 5. You can spell it out, whatever you want. It'll give you a really cool form. So that way, give you some ideas for some training and how to get some more engagement from your employees at the same time. But then you'll pop on my email list so that way I can share all of this goodness with you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.